Hi, this is Drew Nichols here with LTC Tree, and I'm going to have a conversation today with my cousin slash business partner, Derek Wilkins, out in Atlanta. And we're going to talk about a couple of different annuity options. Derek, let's get started.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about what happens if you want long-term care insurance or you want to plan for long-term care, but your health is not so good. I mean, maybe you have some recent surgeries, joint replacements, maybe you have uncontrolled diabetes, but you still want to plan. What do you do?
Yeah, so in the industry-wide, the decline rate for these long-term care plans, whether it's traditional or hybrid, is about 50%. Luckily, our clients we have a higher approval rate than that, but about half the people who apply for this ultimately are unable to qualify for a long-term care plan. And so, we started searching for solutions for clients that may have trouble qualifying, and we came up with three different alternatives that we're going to talk about today. One of them is what's called the bridge annuity, and the other one is a plan from One America called Annuity Care 2. I'm going to put a chart up here in a minute. And lastly, and what we feel like might be the superior option is the North American VersaChoice 10. So I guess to get us started, let me share this little chart. We'll just go straight into the numbers. While I do that, Derek, any other thoughts on like this decline rate and sort of what has people looking at annuities, which used to be kind of like not a favored financial product? Well, what's changed?
Yeah, what's changed? Because the annuities we're talking about, they're fixed annuities, meaning whatever money you put in, you're not going to lose principal. And, if you think back to, 20 years ago when interest rates were maybe 4 or 5%, we had the financial crisis. And then for almost 20 years, interest rates were near zero until the past couple of years. So the lifeblood of these annuities is that fixed Fed funds rate, because they'll take your premium, they'll go buy a treasury, and the higher the treasury yield, the better they can make these annuities. So we're in the heyday of the index of annuities since I've been in the market. So they're as good as they've been in 25 years. So
Yeah, and I mean, we've had annuities on our radar for 25 years, and we have not sold a lot of annuities until recently. We always try to put our clients, first, and so these products have kind of come out of left field and are now certainly in the in like you say in their the best version they've been in a long time. So the bridge annuity is from Equitrust, and it's approved in over 40 states. They've really been adding a lot of states, and we've had some clients ask us about it. And it's a much easier to qualify for long-term care focused annuity that pays benefits for 5 years. So that's one of the kind of things you need to pay attention to is you might have this huge value of benefits, but how quickly can you access it? And so with a 5 year benefit payout, that's pretty good with Bridge. But we started looking at, well, what if we compared it with, let me just do this. I'm going to show this. I'm going to show browser tab here and share. Can you see blue, red, and green?
yeah,
And can you see my mouse highlighting stuff? Okay, cool. I've got two of them up. All right. So I'll cut there and I'll figure it out. Okay, so basically what we determined was that for someone who is looking to plan for long-term care, say in the 15 to 20 year range, we came up with this chart you see on the screen that shows you guaranteed values. And we want to focus on this third column from all three of these options. These are guaranteed, and this is a non-guaranteed option. So it may not be this lucrative, but it's not going to be terrible either with the VersaChoice. So we've got the bridge in blue, the One America in red, and the VersaChoice in green. And what we can see is year by year, for those people who are numerically inclined, we can see what the values are from these different companies in terms of accumulation value. That's, in other words, if you don't need long-term care and you just want to cash this thing out, we've got the cash surrender value actually is what we want to pay attention to. And we can see Bridge, you put in $100,000 premium. That's what we're looking at here is $100,000 in premium. In 15 to 20 years, you're going to get back 112, 116, something like that, if you never need care. So like, let's say you just pass away. Similarly with One America, it's actually under 100K. So you actually lose a little bit of that principal. And again, the non-guaranteed numbers are, but it's a significant differences. And Derek, I'll let you jump in and talk about this. You've got, they're illustrating a $418,000 surrender and accumulation value there at say year 15. Why are these numbers so different? Why is VersaChoice so much better?
yeah. So what the engine of the VersaChoice is going to be the sub accounts. So they're you're basically taking your money and they're indirectly investing them in the stock market. So they have different fund families. You can do an index fund, index to the S&P or the Nasdaq, or so there's some brand name funds you can use. But you're participating in the growth of the market. That's why the numbers are much higher. So how the equity index annuity works is any years that you have gains that are captured, they lock in. So if you put 100,000 in, it goes to 120. Now 120 is your floor. It can't go lower than that. Conversely, if you put 100,000 in and the market's down 20%, your 100,000 just slides over. So they guarantee you a 0% return each year. And there's also an internal guaranteed return. If worst case scenario, you got a 0% return every single year for 20 years, which is highly unlikely, you still would have a base level return inside the annuity because it is a fixed product.
Yeah, we did the math on it, and the internal rate of return was like 2.3%, and that's down or negative markets or sideways markets for 20 years. That would be cataclysmic. Still get a 2.3% return. But like you always say, with the equity index annuity, you have a shot at, especially in some bumper years, some much higher returns. And so a lot of people are willing to kind of take that trade off of, well, I'm willing to take a minimum guaranteed return in exchange for much higher possibility of growth in some of those better years, because that's how the market works, right?
Yeah, because the back tested 10-year return is, with this combination we ran, was 12.32 per year for the past 10 years. Doesn't mean the next 10 years are going to be 12.32% each year, but it gives you a shot at getting a much higher growth. Because if you go back to that chart, you'll see basically the surrender values you're talking about. If you die and never use it, you're pretty much getting your money back with the first two products, with the One America and the Bridge, versus the North American. It's at year 20, it's reading what, $788,000 versus getting your money back or a little bit less. So
Yeah.
if you die in your sleep and never need care, you have this amount of money. But now, if you feel like you might need care within the next 5 years, that's just not going to be enough time for the North American to grow. But if you feel like your time horizon of needing care is maybe 10, 20 years and beyond, odds are your North American's going to blow past the values of the others. And it's cash account. So it's this cash money. You can spend it on whatever you want. So it's
That's
not
actually
just
a
for
great
long-term
point.
care. Yeah.
If you do have an inkling or are worried about the risk of needing this in the next 5 years, this is for a 65-year-old, I should add. With VersaChoice, they really there's a slow growth over the first 5 years, but they really start printing later in the contract. So, for long-term care purposes alone, the Bridge is probably superior in the 5, maybe even 10-year mark. But I think most people are optimistic that they're going to need this more like 15, 20 years out into the future, typically.
Yeah. So if you're like, the average claim age is 85 years old. So, for most people, that North American, you can still leave the majority of your money invested in the stocks exactly where it is. But we have our higher net worth clients, so they're taking money they otherwise would have invested in bonds. They're just peeling off 5-10% of their portfolio, allocating it towards this for the what ifs. What if I need long-term care? And they have a safe place to grow it, but at the same time, it's not, some money market account earning 1%. It's really working for you in the market. So it's kind of it's the product that's in between bonds and a CD. It's right in the middle there. So it gives you a shot at the upside, but it protects you on the downside.
Yeah, and we tell people all the time, with the long-term care risk, it's something that if you had an extra $100,000 to $200,000 a year to help pay for that care, it prevents you from possibly having to sell stock, say, in a down market. So there's a lot of protection. And then lastly, to kind of wrap it up, all of these products have pros and cons and trade-offs, and what we try to do is just kind of navigate that for our clients and balance it to get them the best overall outcome 15, 20 years down the road.
Yeah, because we're LTC Tree. Our DNA is we work for you, not one particular company. We'll go over the pros and cons of each product and let you judge for yourself which one you feel like is best for your situation.
Exactly. So I will put a link to the chart that we've been looking at here on my other screen in the show notes. We would love any comments or questions, or just like this video, we'd appreciate it. And stay tuned. We've got a couple more episodes coming out on some different types of annuities in the next few weeks.
All right. Thanks, guys.